All right, let's do this. So it's Mel here, and I am just checking in. This is my anniversary check in, I guess, because last year in 2022, I did a series of blogging every day. The series was called Show Up to Grow, and each day I had a theme and I was reflecting on that theme and how roller skating had actually helped and supported my personal growth journey. As much as I've learned another skill, the development in my mindset and my personal growth has been completely beyond anything that I could ever have imagined. And it's roller skating, it is 8 wheels. So I have taken a year to spend more time developing that personal growth, and I've invested in business courses. I've done an executive management course called Help to Grow Management that is mostly government funded, and I've done that with Leeds Beckett University. And through that course, I've then also done a level 3 life coaching qualification, which took way longer than I ever expected it to take. Um, and it was a much greater investment in time than I had anticipated, as all of things always are. But I do feel that it was really worth it, and I've learned loads of amazing and really valuable life skills and techniques. I've done an investment readiness course with a group of female angel investors called Fund Her North, and I've networked with so many local business owners, entrepreneurs, and academia in the north of England. And I've really reprioritized things in my life that I think are important in business, but also in my personal health. So, one of the other things that I did was I got fed up of having a back injury. It was driving me crazy, and actually, oh, I was in an injury and rehabilitation cycle. So every time the pain kind of subsided, I would think to myself, right, I'm going to go and be strong, I'm going to be flexible, and I'd be all motivated to do those things. And then something would happen. I would overstretch myself, and I fell back into this, into an injury, and was completely debilitated. I couldn't move easily. I found anything was uncomfortable, and back pain is really one of those invisible illnesses, like it's chronic. For back pain sufferers, I really empathize with you. I decided that I was too young, in my mid 40s now, and I was like, I'm too young to go the rest of my life with back pain. Enough of this. So I found a way to afford, through a payment plan and a credit card, to afford to have a 3-month program with Ultimate Performance Fitness, who run personal training. And I wasn't really expecting the depth of vulnerability I think I was going to have to share. I was a little bit shocked with, okay, I'm going to have to do these exercises and I'm being trained how to do these exercises. I was very scared when I went into that program about what would happen and if they would make it worse. Because my experience was I had made it worse through exercise. So naturally, I was a little bit worried about it. But actually, having somebody who is a trained professional and really understands the body was the right thing to do. They also looked at what I was eating, made sure I was getting enough protein. I mean, I'm not all about those gains, but actually, it makes a difference. If I'm trying to build muscle to strengthen my back, then I need to eat properly. I also had to increase the amount of steps that I was doing per day, so mobility, and I was also making sure that I drank more water, and like 2 liters of water didn't touch the size, nearly 3.5 liters of water per day. And you know what? I did it. So it was a 12-week program. I've not been on the program now, I've not been part of it for probably like 2.5 months. And I feel really strong. I've been motivated to continue to go to the gym and continue my strength training journey, because if I'm not strong, if I can't do the things that I need to do, then actually I can't support or help anybody else. Not my family, and not my customers, and the people that I am actually here to show up and serve. So yeah. So I was just wanting to kind of read through my blog post, my 1 year blog post, and it was I began with a reflection. It's hard to do things every day. When you decide that you're going to do something and you go, do you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to start it now. I'm going to do it every day. 2 days in, 3 days in, a week in, 2 weeks in, something happens in your life. The inevitable curveball comes your way, and you go, ugh, that thing that I've started isn't really a priority anymore. I'm just going to put it over there and I'll come back to it as soon as I can. And then you get snowballed into your little whatever it is that's going on that suddenly seems to be all consuming. And I have been there. I promise that my life's definitely not been easy. We all have our ups and downs. So, I'm not here to diminish anybody's responsibility or any issues with anything, but I do want to say that no matter how in the thick of it you feel, actually, it's really important to find that time to step back and to take a break. It really is important. So that's one of the key things that I learned. I managed to find time to read some books, but I have also listened to audiobooks as I've been walking around, increasing my steps. But if you haven't read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, like, it is a bestseller for a reason, because it actually is a very manageable process where you take something you're already doing and you stack another thing on top of this. So you kind of have a trigger, so if you come down in the morning, the first thing you might do is put the kettle on and then make a coffee and then feed your pets or something like that. I changed that so that the first thing that I did was, while the kettle was boiling, I filled a pint glass of water and drank it through a straw, because it's quick, and drinking that volume of water is a bit boring. So I just made sure that the first thing that went in my body during the day was plain water out of the tap, because in the UK it's absolutely fine to drink straight from the tap. And I drank it through a wide straw because it went in quick. Okay. And that made it manageable for me. The kettle boiled, made my coffee, and so on and so on. So there are definitely lots and lots of times when your brain is on autopilot. Like, I've been driving along. One thing that I did when I was increasing my step count was I would park further away. So to start with, when I went to the supermarket, I parked, instead of as close as I could to the entrance, I parked at the end of the car park as you just come in. And actually, I flipped it around for myself. I was like, not only am I getting more steps in and back, which it takes like another 30 seconds to get from there to the door, right? It's not like miles. But also, it means that when I leave the car park, I don't have to queue around the slow drivers. So like in my head, it's really win-win, and that's a habit that I've kept. So now if I have the time, I will walk to the supermarket from my house, because it's not that far away and I don't usually get a massive weekly shop. My son has grown up and left home. So, there's just my partner and I, and it's pretty chill. And I know everyone's situation is different, so that may not be your situation. Okay, so as I'm driving along, it is very easy, and certainly when I was going to Leeds, to drive, and I'm going to park near my shop because that's the easiest thing to do, and I'm going to have to drop things in and out. Actually, it wasn't helpful for making sure that I maintain a really active day-to-day life. So I started parking further and further away. But when I first started moving, it was easy to miss that earlier turn, and I would end up continuing to drive in just because that is the old route. That's the habit that you've been doing for years. And so it's much more tricky to change, and it requires more energy. You have to be really present and be actively thinking, I must take this turn now. Otherwise, you're on autopilot. So in this whole year, there's been so much learning and unlearning, and it's really unlocked how much I don't know. There's so much, there's so much I don't know. But now I see it. I mean, I would like to think I've always had growth mindset. I don't know that I truly have, but now I feel that I really do. And I think a lot of people who say they have growth mindset are very, very scared. And if you are scared of the what ifs, if you need to know every possible outcome, you probably don't yet have growth mindset, because you can't predict every possibility of every single thing that's going to happen. You just cannot. So you need to find a way of being okay with the not knowing. And to me, that's growth mindset. And it's how do you develop your mind to get to that point so that you are okay with the not knowing. I've undertaken learning in business, in roller skate skills, in dance skills, in just financial literacy, in like most areas of my life. And I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful for the opportunities that have come my way, and that I've been able to take them, albeit that I may have depleted my energy levels at some points along the way. So to kind of say, nod to each one what I did to support my roller skate skills and creativity, I've done a whole load of dance classes. And dancing is something that I've always loved. And it's just about finding the right class for you. There are a ton of dance schools out there. Like, there are so many dance schools and dance classes. And I found a dance school who set up by women similar to me, and they pretty much exclusively run adult dance classes. There are no kids' dance classes at that school, and that made me feel I'm welcome to go there. It's not children's dance classes for competition is their main dance class, and then they just kind of do a class for mums. Actually, no, there are adults of all ages, body shapes, capabilities, experience levels. And we all still go in and go, oh, I'm going to be the worst one here. But every dance teacher that I've met at that dance school embodies the values of that dance school. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Everybody's there to have a great time. They don't care how amateur you are. It's not about that at all. It's very much a family feel, and you feel completely welcomed every time you go there. If you want to look it up, it's Dance Studio Leeds at Mabgate, near Leeds City Centre. And I've worked with them before. I've taught classes there before. I've taught roller skate classes there before. So maybe I'm a little bit biased, but I actually went there as a dancer before I ever went there as a teacher. So it was fabulous. And through that, I've had opportunities to be in Leeds West Indian Carnival. These are my carnival feathers behind you. And I absolutely loved it. I think I was not available in the previous year. I might have been away working at a festival or something like that. And then before that, there were some breaks due to the pandemic. So this was the first one I was able to go to. And I really made an effort to learn the dances and do my dance hall teacher proud. And we had an absolutely amazing time. And it was like 36,000 steps or something that day, just round like the carnival parade, because they were such small, tiny, close together steps. And now at the end of this month as well, I'm going to be in 2 different performances at Leeds City College representing the Dance Studio Leeds. And it's something that even like in my mid-20s, when I was loving dance, like that's 20 years ago, you know, I would have loved to do. And I really struggled with having the confidence to do it. It wasn't that I struggled for time at that point, although I'm sure I did think that I struggled for time. It was definitely that I felt I shouldn't be part of this, that I'm not good enough to be part of this, that I have all of these ideas showing up, and actually I still don't feel that I'm good in a commercial sense, but that's not how I'm choosing to view this. I'm choosing to view this as, am I having a great time? Is that what everybody here wants? And it is. We align. Therefore, I'm going to be in this show, and I'm still going to do my best. But actually, if somebody makes a mistake, you know, it's not the end of the world. We're here to have a great time and just celebrate moving our bodies and dancing. So, yeah, I've had the joy of being part of 2 of the Riffs and Routines roller skate seminars that have been run by Brian from the Netherlands as part of the Esquint Foundation. I went over there in, I think it was May, and they came to London in October. They did also come in the summer and went to Cornwall, but Cornwall from here is like a 9-hour drive, and it's just, I was like, no, it's not happening. We've got other stuff going on. So that was incredible. And like meeting teachers when you've been following them online, I think I've been following them online since like 2014, and kind of noting down their videos and trying to understand their process. And the process is really on linking the mind and the body. And if that's going to help me keep roller skating until, like, for the rest of my life, essentially, if that's going to look after my body and support my roller skate skills, then it's absolutely something that I want to incorporate into my skill and practice, and make sure that as a coach, I can pass that on as well. So that segues me nicely into like some of the business learning that I've done, and as well as the management program that I did. It was a 3-month program, but it felt like a lot more. And actually, they have an alumni program which is continuing now. So I'm still accessing support from them, webinars. It's also opened a network, and the network is so important, but we really close ourselves off from a network. And I think one question that I found really useful to reflect on was, can you take a compliment? Can you take a compliment? Or how easy is it for you to accept help when someone says to you, can I help you with that? Like, whoever they are. Because that is something that I really struggle with. It's so difficult. One, to take a compliment and just say thank you. Oh, your jumper looks great. Thank you. Oh, I love your hair. Thank you. Right? Why is it so hard? We have to instead diminish it in some way. Oh, your hair looks great. Oh, thanks. It's because I just washed it. We do not need a reason to diminish that compliment. Just accept it for what it is. It's a gift that someone's given you. They didn't have to say anything. So just accept it for what it is. And then maybe later, pass it on. Like, be the joy in someone else's life. Anyway, that's a by the by. So I've done the We Can program, which was about coaching and leadership. And again, this was all through Leeds Beckett University, and what a great institution to be involved with. So again, that's part of their alumni program. So I did that program because I felt what we do with roller skating is we really coach mindset, and we support our skaters to identify as skaters. Like that transition from non-skater to roller skater, I think, is one of the most challenging ones to undergo, like in your own brain. how do I identify, oh, I'm not a skater yet because I can't do it. But actually, if you've shown up and you've put them on, you can count yourself as a skater if you want to. That's perfectly fine. You can be skate curious, but some people feel that they don't deserve the label of skater yet because maybe they don't own their own roller skates or they've not been to enough sessions. But do you know what? In your heart of hearts, if it brings you a lot of joy, you call yourself a skater if you want to. That's absolutely fine. You know, when we're not here to compare. We're not comparing our journey to other people's, only yourself to yourself. So that's all. Anyway, one of those parts of the journey was I kind of realized that the more you learn, the more you become aware that you don't know everything. It's like what you know, what you become aware that you don't know, how much you don't know. Like, I mean, there's so much you don't know. And then, yeah, the networking has been incredibly important. So I did an investment readiness program, which was excellent, I have to say. Unfortunately, it's not continuing in its present form, but it was about 5 weeks and I had to pitch, which meant I had to talk in a small amount of time. I think we were given 5 minutes to pitch your business or business idea to a panel of investors, like properly Dragon's Den style. And it probably was that scary. Although by that point, we'd been through a process with a group of women who were all fabulous. And it was really an interesting one, who kind of had their slides together, who presented themselves really well, and a lot of it was to do with the body language and the confidence that you present yourself with. So again, I'm going to pull this back to roller skating. If you're skating and you're looking where you're going, you've got your shoulders back because that's how you need to be for your balance and poise. You can't be looking down at your feet. Actually, you're presenting yourself really, really well. So roller skate skills are 100% transferable to other areas of your life. Okay. But through that network, I was invited to another conference, which was all about investing and finding investors. So it was like matching people together. Just FYI, I'm not at that point yet, by the way. I've realized I have more work to do before I find an investor. But I met a lady who runs or founded an organization called Prosper Her, which is about supporting women to find their passion and purpose and power. And I just really felt so aligned with her vision, her goals, and what she wants to do. And I've ended up agreeing to hold the Prosper event in Leeds at the end of January in 2024. So actually, there's a lot that's happened in a year. It's not a master's, it's, but there's been a lot, and there's a lot to think on and reflect on. And when I started the strength training program with the gym, I had to do a lot of walking. So my personal trainer said, right, Mel, you need to be doing a minimum of 10,000 steps a day, but ideally 12,500 steps a day. And I was like, obviously no problem. I am a roller skater, don't you know? And I think you'll find that that's no problem at all. But actually, when I started tracking my steps, I was pretty horrified to learn that I wasn't even doing 5,000 steps a day, because my lifestyle was enabling me to have as much time as possible, but the time I was procrastinating in, I was not using it well. So yeah, issue. So I had to find ways of craning in more steps into my day. So as I already mentioned, I was parking further away from the supermarket. I was parking further away from the shop because between me and the shop there's like 14 miles, so it's actually not practical to walk there, but if I could have done, I would have done. And so I got to 10,000 steps pretty quickly. And fortunately, it was the summer. So in the evenings, I would get myself out and go for a walk. Now, it did mean that things like time spent on social media suffered because you cannot do it all. And I definitely could not do it all. So I chose to prioritize my mental health and my body and actually go for a walk rather than spend time posting and marketing on social media. And I am glad that I took that mental space because I feel that I needed it. I needed the time to process. So I got to 12,500 steps, then I got to 15,000 steps, and then I was like, I went away to We Out Here festival. It was really fun this year. We were invited as guests and it was great. What a different experience compared to working at a festival. But at the festival, I was like, whoa, you walk around all day on a site, and we were clocking like 30,000 steps plus. And my personal trainer was like, wow, this is a lot of steps. And then I thought, well, do you know what? 20,000 steps is probably achievable. So then I was like, oh, okay, well, let's see if I can push it to 20,000 steps. So I think in the final month of the 12-week program, I was doing like 20,000 steps some days, like maybe half of the week. When the program completed and I was like kind of thrust back into the real world, it helped me maintain a sense of purpose because I was like, oh, I have no gym appointments now. What do I do? And I had to make them myself in my diary. I was like, right, I'm going here because that discipline I found really helped. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do 20,000 steps a day for a month and see what happens. And I actually managed it for 6 weeks. I've dropped back to 15,000 now, just FYI. But I couldn't, when I was doing 20,000 steps a day, I could not think, do I do them now? Do I do them later? The answer was do it now. There was like no time to procrastinate about that. There was no time. So I had to just get out there and go and do it. And so it seems like a ridiculous goal to set yourself, but the things that I learned from that were actually much more in terms of mindset development. Like my body has also changed physically. Like I have definitely developed muscles, which has absolutely supported the strengthening of my back, and that is fabulous. And it also gave me lots of time to sit and reflect. So I listened to loads of podcasts. I listened to a whole bunch of other stuff as well. Loads of music. As I was walking along, I was like dancing with my arms, and I didn't really care, I have to say. Like if other people were like, what is she doing? I really clearly had a big pair of headphones on and I was having like a lovely time. But what I think the biggest takeaway is that self-care is absolutely essential. Investment in you and your time. Like there is no one else who will be as invested in you as you. The only person who has to live in your body all of the time, your body and your mind, is you. Anyone else, your partner, your children, your friends, do not have to listen to you or what your body is telling you or your feelings are telling you, or your emotions all of the time. Those people will come, you can moan at them, but they can leave again. You are stuck with your thoughts and the feelings in your body. So if one of those feelings is pain, like please sort that out. If your mind isn't a friendly place for you, then we need to work and nurture it so that it becomes a friendly place for you, because nothing is sadder than being in your own body and brain and being really unenthusiastic or finding motivation difficult. Now, if it is a medical issue, then absolutely seek medical support. But if you're just experiencing kind of part of the roller coaster of life and you're in a down moment, you've got to find ways to lift yourself out of that down moment. So, absolutely, you need to take time to process. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying do not take any time. Remain happy all the time, because that's not the case. That's not real life. But if you want to find a way of navigating through those ups and downs in a way that feels authentic, that feels honest, then I would then I will be launching in January an online coaching program, and I am really excited about it. I'm kind of putting the elements of it together now, but I know it's going to be a 6-week program. It's going to be online, because that's going to allow me to work with and reach people that I haven't been able to work with before. And there are people who are always saying, Mel, when you're in Leeds though, where are you going to be when you're not in Leeds? And I'm like, yeah, I'm not. I might visit somewhere else for a workshop, but the connection that I might have with you in a workshop where there's like 60 people or 200 people is going to be way more fleeting. Like, I'm not going to have that connection with you in the same way that I have when I'm teaching a class in Leeds and we're there and we see that progression every week. And we know that that progression happens because those people that come to class then come and be skate marshals and then come and be coaches or staff at the shop, because the values that we have just really resonate and align with their own personal values. So if you are thinking, maybe I totally resonate with everything that Mel is saying in this video, I watched the whole video, maybe the coaching program is something that I want to know more about. And like, the coaching program will include some mindset work and it will include some roller skate skills work. And until now, I have really been resisting teaching online. Like, since we came out of the pandemic and we didn't have to teach online classes anymore, just because I found it so difficult. But actually, I believe that I can deliver a really great coaching program, and it will allow you to make significant progress towards your goals. So if you think this is something I want to know about, I'm going to pop a link down below, or maybe somewhere somewhere here. I know people like point to the screen, but I've not done that before. So that you can go check out the coaching program and register if it's something you're interested in, so that I know and I can send you some updates. All right. So I think look out for, I'm going to do a series of lives to talk about the coaching, the things that I've learned, and the things that helped me the most in navigating this journey that we call life. Roller skating is really high up on that list. But we also need to know what to do if for some reason we can't do it. We cannot pin everything to one activity. It's just too risky. So yeah, I hope you know how important you are. And what I'd really love you to do right now is go and take some time for yourself. Do something that you love to do, even if it is, I'm going to dance in my kitchen, or I'm going to sing a song as loudly as I can. Whatever it is, just do something that makes you feel happy. Because if you feel happy, you feel boosted, you have got more to give to others. That's who we are. We are the givers. Mwah. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.